Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smokers Bible, Dreams of Zion, episode 7, I believe. Episode, yes, episode 7. These are little short stories that I tell about my dreams of Zion and how we're going to go camping to stand up for ourselves and our drug use. So, today's story is called Elise Learns to Heal. And these short stories, I'm just getting a couple of ideas for the story before I air it, and then I'm just telling it as I make it up. So if it's rough, I'm not trying to make a publishable story. I'm just trying to illustrate how wonderful Zion is going to be so that you can see for yourself why we should go camping. Okay, so in today's story, um, we learn about Elise. She's from Connecticut, a small town in Connecticut, and she's a secretary for an accounting firm. And she's 24 years old, and she gets high. She smokes pot. She really doesn't do any other drugs. She just smokes pot. But she's smoked it since she was about 14, and she just, loves pot. So when she heard about this woman, Zion, who was standing up for all drug users and advocating for a camp out for freedom, she decided that she was going to go and take part of that because hell with being an accountant secretary. And Zion, she's supposed to be whatever she wants to be. Now, she wasn't actually sure what that was because she'd never really thought about it. She just grew up and took the first job that was available that she could qualify. The first, she went to the school that she could afford, and she became a secretary. So when she came to Zion, to Camp Zion, she had no idea what guild she wanted to join. So when she got to the gate, the greeter asked her name and her age and asked her if she was a citizen of Zion. And she said yes, she was, that she had signed up before she came out because by that time there was a web page for it. And so he looks, she gives him her information from the website and her credentials, if you will. And he puts in her code and it pops up that she has not joined a guild. And he goes, "Oh, so you don't know what you want to do, huh?" He said, "No, I've really never thought about it. I'm a secretary, but I'm really not happy being a secretary. So I'd kind of like to take that test that you guys are offering, the aptitude test, because maybe you can figure out for me what would make me happy, because secretary is not what I want to do." And he says, "No problem." And so he says, "Let me see your phone." And he pushes in the codes. Well, actually, because she's a citizen of Zion, he just taps in her code because he's got her code. He taps in the code to the proper gate for her to go to, which was because she was a bachelorette. She went to the bachelorette compound because she didn't have a guild. So she gets her directions from her telephone, and she follows them, and she goes to the gate of the bachelor camp, and she's greeted by what else? A bunch of girls. And so she settles into her bunk and introduces herself around. It's a big party because we're all camping. So, she has her tent and she sets up, uh, or she has her bunk because it's a big tent and it's like they're quarantining as they go. It's like they're waiting for their placement. And of course, everybody in the camp is quarantined to their individual encampments until the quarantine is cleared. So, but in order for us to create our society the way we want to, everybody can function in the camp with masks, but only if they're on assignment. So she's in her encampment for the girls, and she first gets tested for COVID, and thank God she's clear of that. She has a physical, and the physical is weird and she was fascinated by it because when she, it's like she didn't go to the physician's camp. The physician came to her, to the camp, they as they did every day, to check in on the new campers. So a regular doctor came, and with him came another person who was introduced as a healer. And she thought, a healer? What is that? And so the physician says, okay, I'm going to, he asks her some questions. Do you have asthma? Do you have a history? What medications do you take? And he goes through a regular physical with her. And at the end of that physical, the healer says, now it's my turn. So she just waves her hands, she uses both hands, and she does a reading, a psychic reading on Elise. And Elise had been having some problems with her knee. Now, it hadn't been, really bad, but the doctor had not sensed anything about that. He didn't catch it. But when the healer got to her right knee, she was like, oh, here's a problem. Let me fix that for you. And she just applied some heat to her knee. But the heat was not coming from anything but the hands of the healer. And Elise looked at her knee in the healer's hands and how warm her knee was, and how the pain just kind of started to go away. And then within a couple of minutes, the pain was gone. And she was like, wow, how did you do that? And the healer, whose name is Betty, said, it's what healers do. I am a psychic healer, and my job is to use my psychic energy to help your body heal itself, which is what I've just done. And you will feel a little tenderness in the knee for a day or two. But by then, the pain should be completely gone, the tenderness gone, and your knee will be as it should be. And Elise was just amazed by this. She was like, wow, that is so cool. I had no idea anything like that even existed. And she goes back to her tent and she's just amazed at how her knee feels. Because what had happened was she had fallen down as a child and made a little um, sore spot inside the knee that had never been healed properly. It was just like bruising, but it was in a tender spot that a chip had formed. It had chipped it. And that chip had uh, would occasionally rub against the knee and cause her pain. Well, what the healer did was she activated the body's defense against that little portion of her anatomy, and the body fixed it itself. It moved the chip out and disintegrated it because the body can do that kind of thing if it's taught how to do it. And that's kind of what the healer did. So her little chip spot was fixed by the healer. Now that's something that a regular physician couldn't do. And this fascinated Elise. She said, oh man, that would be so cool. I wonder if there's any possible way that I could be a healer. Because if I had that ability, wow, that's something she thought she could enjoy. So the next day, um, her counselor came to her, and, or well, she went to the guild tent to take her aptitude test. And she was really excited because she, the possibilities were endless. She hoped that she would have the capacity to join the Healers Guild because that was just so cool. But she was still excited because no matter what the test results showed, she would have a new life. She would no longer sit behind a desk and be bound to a keyboard that she hated. So she was excited. So she goes in and she takes what amounts to an IQ test, but it covers psychic abilities as well as the regular portions of our IQ. So it's, let's say, IQ point 2.0. And in this, she is instructed, literally instructed, how to activate that healing in her to see if it would register. She has that capacity. That was part of the psychic test. And when the image of the leader Zion, me, comes to the screen and gives her the ritual of opening, her palms open up, and she feels the tingling that she's told will be present if she has that ability. And the moment her palms started to tingle, she sucked in her breath for sheer joy because she felt that tingling and it was strong. And she just almost jumped because she was so happy. That was what she wanted. So she takes the rest of the test, but she already knows exactly what she wants to do because her hands are still tingling. She just is like, once they started to tingle, they just didn't want to stop because she was so happy. And that tingling was just like, it just spread from her palms all the way through her body as she took this test. And she was just so excited about it. So she finishes her test and she goes in. And the uh, her counselor takes one look at her and says, "Okay, Elise, I think you must know what guild you want." And Elise is like, "Yes, I do." She says, "Look, my hands, they're healing. There, there's heat coming from my hands." And the counselor says, "Well, okay." And she puts her hands, "Oh, yes, you do have the healing ability. So I take it you want to go to the healing guild." She's like, "Oh, yes, I do. I do. I can't believe I have this." She was so excited. And so she says, "Okay, let me give him a call." So she calls her up and she says, "I have a really, really excited healer on my hands." And what was the name of the healer that came? Did I name the healer? I don't know if I did or not. Let's say her name is Sandy. Okay, so Sandy says, "Oh, well, I was in there and I healed her knee yesterday." So she says, "Awesome. She wants to be a healer. I will second that emotion." So Elise hears, "I will second that emotion," over the phone, and she just she's so excited. So her counselor says, "All right, go pack your tents, and your phone has the GPS for the Healers Guild. Welcome to the Healers Guild." And she's so excited, so she packs her bags up and she tells the girls, "It's just like, I'm gonna be a healer." Oh, they were so excited for her. And so she gets a ride in a cart she takes a cart that is available because there's carts set up all through the camp for anybody to use if they need them. So she takes the cart and she follows her directions to the Healers Guild. And she's so excited. Well, when she gets there, Sandy is waiting for her. She says, "Oh, I'm so happy for you. Let me see your hands." And she puts up her hands and she says, "Okay, think about healing me." And the heat starts coming out, and she says, "Oh, this is so cool." And Sandy's like, "Yes." She goes, "You have some good energy going there, girl. This was definitely made for you. So come on into the Healers Guild." So Elise did not know what she wanted to be, but now she's a healer. So may the great watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. And may they teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it, and make that your guild choice. Stay happy and hide. Use drugs. You have every right and reason to. My name is Zion. I love you too much to say goodbye, so I'm going to say later now.